Mr. Powers, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. The 5 years of investigating here, which began all the way back under the leadership of Donald Trump, why do you think it took so long to bring this antitrust lawsuit to the public's attention, really, till this point?
Yeah, well, good morning. It's good to be here with you all on what's a pretty important day in terms of promoting competition in the American economy. In terms of why it took so long, I think what we've seen over the years is antitrust investigations. They're complex. They tend to run for a long time. And not only that, once you are able to get to a point where you can decide whether or not to bring a case, it then can take a number of years to move the case through the litigation, through appeal and whatnot. So I wouldn't say this is any sort of unusual length of time. And if anything, I think the fact that this investigation was started under the last administration under President Trump and was continued on through the Biden administration, couples with the description at the beginning about the 15 states that joined the department here, with how this is a bipartisan concern about the role of the largest companies play in our economy, and here specifically with Apple, which, as you said, everybody's got one. And so the question is how have they continued to maintain that position? But these investigations can take a long time because they're so complex.
The suit accusing Apple of monopolizing the market, and when you know the amount of people, the iPhone users in your life versus those of other smartphones, it doesn't come as a complete shock. But Richard, is this right? You say it's not illegal to be a monopoly under U.S. antitrust laws. So what is it that Apple's actually being accused of that's considered illegal?
Right. So that's exactly right. Under U.S. antitrust laws, you can be a monopoly, and it's okay to get to that point and stay there as long as you're doing it through providing some sort of superior product, innovation, just being very good at business. Now, what you can't do, and what the law says is illegal, is you can't obtain or sustain that monopoly position through what's called exclusionary conduct. And exclusionary conduct is really designed by companies that are behaving illegally to eliminate competition, right? To sort of choke out rivals, limit the ability of consumers to go somewhere else. And so, when you see a case like this, that's what the Department of Justice and the states are saying, which is, yes, Apple has this great phone that everybody uses, but they got to this point and now they're staying there because they're using these sort of exclusionary tactics. And I think, excuse me, I think, the point about knowing, who doesn't have an iPhone in our lives is actually something that the complaint talks about, right? And this is the green bubble phenomenon, where everybody kind of knows who that friend is or that family member is who doesn't have an iPhone. And what the complaint says, and what the DOJ and the states have said, is that that's actually by design. It's meant to sort of create pressure on people to get their family members, or when it comes to younger people, to teenagers, to make sure they don't want to be the one with the green bubble. And so it's designed to create that sort of pressure to get people to purchase iPhones. And that's what the DOJ and the states have laid out.
Yeah, it appears as if they are using, again, green bubble users are less superior devices in terms of relating to iPhone, and how iPhone, again, is stepping up, making these even better phones in general, but rather just excluding any other phone versus an Apple-made product. We'll leave it right there with Richard Powers. Thank you so much for coming on, again, sharing your knowledge on this. A lot to watch for playing out over the years here.